The country's structural impediments coming under the spotlight as those frank conversations continue at the Money Summit to try come through with solutions for an economy that has not moved for quite some time. And we know very well that the state-owned entities have been categorized as some of those that can be attributed to an economy that has not moved well because of the challenges that they've experienced over time. But just speaking about that, we see Eskom just picking up in terms of the energy issues that are now seemingly becoming somewhat of a thing of the past, even though they say that we're not out of the woods yet. Then we hear talks around how then we should move into spaces like Transnet so that we get the best out of these spaces and also work to inspire confidence. I'm going to bring Hushe Muleshe, who's with us this afternoon as an energy expert. You know very well that we've spoken about where we find ourselves, and really at the heart of what has been happening lately has been the cost of electricity that we see consumers really struggling to keep up with, and it's at the center of an economy that has not moved well for quite some time. But also looking at other state-owned entities, there are issues there that will need to be attended to. Some of them legacy issues that when we have these conversations, then we begin to come through with some of those solutions that will come through for women, men, women, and an economy that has not done well for quite some time. Let's reflect in terms of where we find ourselves. The economy, it has not done well in a way that it comes through for people on the ground, and at the center are issues of governance.
Yes, I think that the economy can only do well if you have the requisite infrastructure functioning in terms of how it's supposed to be, like having electricity. Electricity, transportation, logistics are key inputs to the functioning economy. So without those, you're going to face constraints. Luckily, we have the good news with Eskom having improved. Transnet is on the right track. We still have to see some improvements when it comes to rail, when it comes to the ports, but we can see a lot of efforts in that. So it's quite important from a governance point of view that we continue to strengthen these institutions so that they can support the infrastructure development and they can support the economy so that it can perform in the way that it's supposed to be.
When you look at the men and women on the ground that have been struggling to make ends meet, one can say that the structural challenges have really put them in the back foot in terms of how they manage their finances, how they ensure that at least they safeguard themselves. And at the center, it has been all of these issues that are coming through from state-owned entities like your Eskom. I just mentioned the issue of the high electricity prices, that we don't see them coming down. And even the minister saying that that is a problem now, a recurring problem that will need to be attended to and focused or zoomed into. When you look at where we are and how then a consumer is navigating this economy, would you say that really at this point in time they're able to move as they should?
It's very difficult for the consumer right now, and it will continue to be difficult because from my perspective, and electricity prices are going to continue to go up as we invest more in infrastructure. I mean, to bring in renewable energy projects, you need transmission infrastructure. And there's a huge requirement from an investment perspective. And that, in South Africa, the consumer pays. So we are still going to see challenges. I heard the minister is saying that there will be a way in which I haven't seen the plan and whether it makes sense or not. But what I know is that the Eskom application is a 3-year application process, and that will therefore be applicable for the next 3 years. So I'm not sure how he's planning to reduce the costs with respect to that. But we are still going to see challenges with respect to prices in particular.
What are the lessons that we draw then from such engagements? Because you often hear people saying that we should not have talk shops, but we should see this just moving into changing the states, changing the way that people are actually experiencing or going on with their day-to-day, and looking at this being a money summit. What do we draw from this that we can then take and really give the public some confidence to say that those critical conversations are being held, and maybe in the near future we should see the economy navigating a bit better?
So the economists are at least giving us tips in terms of how we should be working in terms of governing the economy. They are telling us that, for instance, Operation Vulindlela, in terms of bailing out Eskom, in terms of improving the procurement processes, have helped to unlock the infrastructure. So we may have done things incorrectly, but there are ways in which we can claw back and try to move forward. So they are bringing in different inputs in terms of what government should do with respect to governance, what government should do with respect to opening up the market and fixing the structural issues that we continue to face, and where we are going in the future. Some positive news, at least a little bit of a shift on the economy in the positive direction.